I get deeply offended. There's a difference between getting hurt and getting offended. मणिपुर को औकात दिखाना है, मणिपुर का एमपी को औकात दिखाना है, मणिपुर का प्रजा को औकात दिखाना है. How would you feel if the Indian map is going to be presented by the government of India by carving out the Northeast or Manipur from that map? We will not beg. I don't think, none of the Manipuris will beg. Modi, we are behind you. Yes, it should be excluded. औकात दिखाना पड़ेगा मणिपुरी लोगों को. इस देश में उसका जगह क्या है? That is what the message is today.
Professor Bimol Akoijam, it is such a pleasure to have you tonight. I know you had a long day, very long day. Yesterday, you were the last speaker in the Lok Sabha, and you spoke your heart out. Today, for 4 minutes, you, along with other opposition members, kept screaming, Manipur, 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 Manipur ko nyay do. The Prime Minister did not utter a single word. Manipur ko nyay mila?
Yeah.
Akoijam.
Yeah, thank you. Tamal.
Yes, carry on. Manipur ko nyay mila?
Tamal, there are things which I was quite, I don't know what to say at one level now, because the Prime Minister of the country, he hasn't uttered a word, and people have been crying. And I have said this to Karan Thapar last year in June, that his silence hurt. I said that time, it hurts, I said. Today, I must tell you that I don't get hurt. I get deeply offended. There's a difference between getting hurt and getting offended. He might say that, damn with Manipur, damn with your bloody MP. One might say like that. It is almost like that. However, whatever you do, आपका औकात दिखाना है. मणिपुर को औकात दिखाना है. मणिपुर का एमपी को औकात दिखाना है. मणिपुर का प्रजा को औकात दिखाना है. We have to show the place of where Manipur is. I think that's the kind of an information, that's the kind of a communication that I take it. In the days to come, we'll see the consequence of this act of trying to show the place of the people of Manipur. It is a genuine appeal.
Would you call this arrogance, Professor Akoijam? And I don't ask you this because you're a Congress.
It is the saddest part. It is the saddest part when the country's prime ministers don't care about thousands of people, suffering. And, he was one of those guys who said that we must remember partition. And Manipur is suffering that kind of a partition now. And 60,000 people languishing in relief camps. And widows and mothers who have lost their sons and husbands, sisters and brothers. He said, give a damn. I wouldn't mention. You do whatever you want. You want to shout on the floor of the house, the temple of democracy in this country, I give a damn. I will show you, Manipur, where you belong. That's what he was trying to do. And that's what I get the information. This is unfortunate, and it is very sad, and I get really, really offended now. But initially, I was hurt in earlier, but today I don't get hurt. But I'm telling you, I get offended. I'm deeply, deeply offended. And it's okay if the country's prime ministers wants to act like this, it is his choice. But as a public figure, rest of the country and his colleagues must also think, is it legitimate to ignore and to treat the state of Manipur like this, to humiliate Manipur like this? I think let his conscience answer as within quote nationalist and the leader of our country as the prime ministers. I think I'll leave. But what we as citizens, ordinary citizens, have to do for our own suffering, we will do it. And this humiliation and this treatment I hope you will have your own answers. People will give their own answers in the days to come.
Professor Akoijam, in over a year, you were the first MP from Manipur who got a chance to speak on Manipur. I'm sorry you were the last speaker yesterday and
That's also
speaking at
interesting.
around 11:40 p.m. And yesterday you said something very significant, that this reflects a Rashtra Chetana that neglects people.
That
Did you
excludes people.
come? That excludes people. You
You
have been excluded. Manipur has been excluded.
Tamal, just think for a moment, which I know I wanted to say so many things yesterday. I wanted to plead and also wanted to say something like, past is past. My dear Prime Ministers, please let's work together, let's move ahead. I was about to appeal that, but I didn't get a chance to do that because I was waiting for my turn since around 5 in the afternoon, and somebody told me that I will get it around this time. This time it keep on postponing. As destiny would have it, I became conscious of the fact that I was nearing the midnight 12 o'clock, and the tryst with destiny speech was ringing on my head, and I thought that, and now let this speech be a moment for people to be awakened or independent from the peripherality of our existence, from the constant reminder that we are nothing, that we are at the periphery, we are at the margin. Let people be independent of that psyche with this speech, and reclaim their place of dignity and respect in this country. That's why I keep on saying, as the midnight hour approaches, I was conscious of that moment. I mean, just think, this is one of the things, Tamal, I wanted to say yesterday, I couldn't. I said, we felt offended when the Chinese published our map without Arunachal Pradesh, or Pakistani people, publishing map with a truncated Jammu and Kashmir. We get offended. How would you feel if the Indian map is going to be presented by the government of India by carving out the Northeast or Manipur from that map? How would you feel? They would be screaming,
I
right? People would be screaming, and this is exactly what they are doing. It is excluding Manipur, and that kind of a Rashtra Chetna, that kind of a national consciousness is deeply, deeply troubling for me, and that is why I was trying to understand
you
what makes
also
this kind of exclusion.
you also you also said a nationalist party. You kept on saying a nationalist party.
Because
BJP swears by
BJP is being
nationalism.
often referred to as within quote a nationalist party, Ras, Bhakti, Rashtra, that's the language that they talk. And I said, this nationalism is almost producing a cartography of India by carving out Manipur outside of that frame. And this is that's what I was reminding. Manipur is the 19th state of this country. It is a state of the union, and there are citizens there. They are suffering. There are 60,000. It is not joke. I was trying to remind the House, because it represents the people of India. I am not I there. I am a representative of a certain portion of the population in this country. We all come from different parts of the country, representing us as we. And this we is excluding by a particular nationalist imagination. And they're saying that we give a damn to what happens in Manipur. I wouldn't talk about it. You scream whatever you wanted to do, say whatever you wanted to. And people will say, Modi, 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 we are behind you. Yes, it should be excluded. औकात दिखाना पड़ेगा मणिपुरी लोगों को. इस देश में उसका जगह क्या है? That is what the message is today. And I will be reminding them again and again that it is the 19th state of India, and how it has become a part of India. There's a history behind it. And there are people who fought for this country. That is what I was reminding those people died in Afghanistan, in the foreign soil, bomber, suicide bomber, trying to protect India's interests. Just as Major Ngangom Joy Datta died fighting hand to hand in Jaffna, in October, if I remember, it is in the month of October in 1987. He was giving cover fire to the para, and I think 13 Sikh light or something. He was fighting with his Gurkha. He was in Gurkha regiment, and and those people, and then there are sports stars who have been carrying the tricolor in international platforms. There are cultural icon like Aribam Sham Sharma and Ratan Thiam, who was the Sangeet Natak Academy chairman. All these people, do they matter in this country? And if they do matter, how come the 60,000 of their fellow citizens suffering in that state and you don't want to talk about it? What does it speak? I mean, this is not for our prime minister to answer now. I think it is the rest of the country, people in the rest of the country must ask, including my colleagues from the BJP, keep their hands on their heart and ask them, is it right for us not to talk about Manipur? Is it right for the prime ministers to keep silent? And will you still support this particular thing simply because it is your boss? Or would you have that Rashtra Chetna's own conscience and say this is something is wrong with us? We should be talking at least one line. भीख मांग के बोलना पड़ेगा एक दिन तो उसको. भीख मांगना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली में आके somebody has to come from Manipur and भीख मांगना पड़ेगा. Is that what they wanted to tell the Manipur? Come and bend on your knees and plead us, that talk about us. Is that one? Remember that. Humiliation in historically, people responded it, and the consequence is never going to be good for us as a country.
Professor Akoijam, आप भीख मांगने देंगे? Would you let Manipur beg before
No,
Delhi
I won't.
for its
I will
right?
not allow my people to beg. We will not beg. We will remind. There's a difference between reminding and begging. I will not beg, and I will not ask my people to beg. I will be against anybody who's trying to beg. I don't think, none of the Manipuris will beg. I can tell you. We have a historical baggage behind us. We may be a small part. We may be a little over 3 millions in 1.4 billion population in this country. But remember that Indian Constitution allows us to be equal citizens. Whether you are a Tamil or a Maratha or a Punjabi or a Bihari or a UPI or Orissa, Bengal, Assamese or Manipuris, we are all equal in the eyes of the constitutions. And this kind of an insult, a deliberate insult, I think the rest of the country must be asking constantly. I don't think it is the duty of the Manipuris to do that. It is the duty and the responsibility of every citizens and every community in this country to raise this question.
I'm sure India is watching you tonight, and India is hearing you tonight. And when you say that you will not let Manipur beg and you will ensure that others, nobody compels Manipur to beg, please, let's not make a mistake. Today inside the parliament, 234 MPs who come under India Alliance bloc, who represent more than 50% of India, for 134 minutes, they kept on screaming, Manipur, 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 Manipur ko nyay do, Manipur ko justice do. So Manipur is not alone, sir.
Part. That's a reassuring part. This is not every Indians think like the way our prime minister think. You see,
Or
it's a
Indian,
democracy.
no, sir, I'm sorry to cut you, sir. I'll let you continue. But you kept on referring to a word, Aukad, that BJP possibly or Modi ji wants to show Manipur its Aukad. बीजेपी को मणिपुर ने औकात दिखा दिया. दोनों सीट में मणिपुर ने बीजेपी को रिजेक्ट.
That's what I said. The pain, the suffering, those anguish have propped me off, thrown me off. And nobody in the political arena in this country, forget about in this country, in my own home state, to be the representative. I have served this country as the faculty members of 3 of the greatest institutions in this country. I have trained students from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, from Maharashtra to Manipur, all over, besides students from abroad. And I have been telling my students, you know, what is the idea of India you have it, the kind of diversity and the kind of injustices that we have it, the idea of India, how it comes into being and what it entails, and what is the hakikat, what is the reality of India, and how these dialectics between this idea of India and the hakikat of India is what makes what we are. And when certain kind of practices dominates, it threatens the very idea of India as well as the very reality of India. I think some people think that we can bulldoze people, and some people can be treated in a particular manner. That's the way they are showing it. It is unacceptable, and that is why I get offended now. Initially, I got hurt. That's what I told Karan Thapar in June. He asked me, Prime Minister hasn't said anything. Then I said, it hurts me because I was expecting him to say a few words. Now that I don't get hurt at all, I'm telling you, I get offended. And a lot of people in Manipur get offended. I'm sure rest of the country as well, a lot of people must be offended so deeply now.
I would let you go, Professor Akoijam. You had a long day. You did wind up last night post midnight. By the time you reached home, it was about 12, much later midnight. In the morning, you have come back to Lok Sabha. And for 134 minutes, along with other opposition leaders, even you have screamed Manipur, Manipur. And people could hear the united voice of the literally roaring for Manipur inside the house. Before I let you go, is there anything that you want to tell the Prime Minister?
Well, we all make mistakes. I think one should not be too arrogant. We are all mortal beings, will die one day. We contribute, and every act must ensure that dignity of people in this country. And I think our prime ministers will at least one day realize that he has made a mistake. And that day would be, I will forget everything. The day when he forgets, I will have that heart. I hope that the people of this country and people of my state will have the magnanimity to forgive and forget. Till then, I think let history judge this kind of a treatment meted out to the people of Manipur. That's all I want to say at the moment.
Along with history professor Akoijam, Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, the ideological parent of BJP, had also judged the conduct of a government led by BJP at the center
No,
back in 2023. Mohan Bhagwat, Manipur was burning. It had to be resolved. Manipur is part of India and it had to be resolved. Even Mohan Bhagwat had spoken out. But the Prime Minister today, for 134 minutes, maintained absolute silence. And towards the end, he did this chest thumping and he said, "Bahut maza aaya, bahut aaya."
yeah, I know that. I know that part. See, remember that justice must also be seen, done, not simply done, but it must also be seen. Right? That's the idea that. But what to say? That's the limit. ये लक्ष्मण रेखा पार कर दिया भाई, हम कल क्या कह सकते हैं, है ना? That's very sad, and I think rest of the country will know the tears that the people of Manipur says, the hurt, the humiliation. Incidentally, a former Home Secretary, G.K. Pillai, once said Manipuris have been humiliated in the past, but I think this humiliation has surpassed all those humiliation of the past, and that it is being done at this age. I don't know. I don't know. This is the political, what should I say? They are committing a harakiri. They might be shouting Bharat Mata. I think they are insulting Bharat Mata by treating a segment of the population of this country in this manner. The worst thing can happen. Otherwise, some people will begin to say, well, Professor Bimol, why you're talking like that? I'm sure that a lot of people in the Northeast and in my home state might also say, why you are talking like this? They have always been treated us like a colony. They might tell me that why you're pleading. It's okay. It's my own take. And I often say that, I don't forget that Okinawa was run by the Pentagon till 1972, and the Northeast being seen through a militaristic and security lens rather than a part of the population, or we, within quote, we. And you remember in one of my interviews, in one says, I said there is a gap between, and you said that you get hurt by that one. Remember in one of my conversation with you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's right in front of you on the floor of the house. It's not in the bazaar. It's not an uneducated people mistaking us for a Chinese. You understand? It is the prime minister and his party boldly, contemptuously treating Manipur this way on the floor of the house of the largest democracy. We call it the temple of democracy. What can I say? They, let them think over it. Let them think over it. And I think, let me see one more last time in the coming, session, full budget session, whether he has that sense to come out and apologize and admit the mistake that will turn around. And I said it, I'm sure that I expect that people will have that magnanimity to forgive and forget, and we can go on to solve the problem that we have in the
Professor
state of
Akoijam,
Manipur.
like what I said last time, in folded hands, with a lot of conviction in my heart, I'm saying, I represent my India as much as the Prime Minister of the country. So this Indian is telling you, I do not see a gap between me and Manipur, between me and you as a Manipuri, between me or anyone in Northeast. And I will not let anyone create any kind of a gap. I'm not a soldier of truth. As a journalist, I will do my part. Professor Akoijam, I hope and pray you get some good sleep tonight and take some good rest. I'll see you very soon, either in New Delhi or in Imphal. In either two places, I would be visiting very soon, and I would be seeing you there, sir. For tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.